didn't think it was a thing. I could be wrong.
Yes, you do. Welcome everyone.
that's
Please
gonna be
rise for the
fun,
pledge.
yeah.
What's up, Russ? Where are you going?
I'm saying hi.
Okay.
Being polite. Get here early.
That's
I
right.
was here at 6:30.
I pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
To the
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome.
Sorry about that.
Councilmember Bardini,
Present.
Councilmember Totino,
Present.
Councilmember Pristula,
Present.
Councilmember Warai,
Present.
Supervisor Albrook.
Here. Just one amendment. We have an item for special consideration to add the third deputy tax receiver with a resolution to reappoint Lauren. Present the motion to amend the agenda to include the item for special consideration. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No,
No?
I don't think so.
Why?
Well, I want to discuss it.
Okay. Motion passes.
We're top heavy, and I don't know.
I don't think we're top heavy at all.
All right, let's discuss it.
Absolutely. All right. Any new employees today? All right, none. Next up is privilege of the floor for general town items. Now you can speak about anything regarding the town of Fishkill. Louise?
Hello, Louise Daniele, legal resident of Fishkill for over 30 years. Get that one there. I wanted to speak about a couple of agenda items, but I think I'll let you guys talk about it first and see what you say, and then I'll come back up and speak about them later. Last month, I came to the meeting and asked that the board attempt to try and help me collect monies that are owed to me from Mr. Domenico Broccoli from a lawsuit that he lost. I still have not received any money, so I'm wondering if the town can somehow transfer the rights, or I'm not sure how it would be worded, of the collection to the town from myself, since it's the town's money that actually paid for it, for the lawyer. So I'm not sure how to do that, or what I need to give you or
Okay.
the attorney. So if you can look into that.
Anything else?
Nope, the rest I'll wait for you guys to talk about.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Sorry, that was loud.
Good evening. My name is Keith Riley. I'm a member of the Friends of Fishkill Supply Depot. I was asked by our group's chairman, Lance Ashworth, to deliver his research findings about a cemetery directly north of the intersection of Van Wyck Lake Road and Route 9 in Fishkill. Unfortunately, Lance had a prior commitment tonight, so I'll read his findings to the board this evening. I'd like to start by giving out copies of what Lance has compiled. For this could be helpful for the discussion about the location of the American Revolutionary burial grounds at tonight's agenda. Is it okay if I
Yes, sir.
present this? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so this again is a report by Lance Ashworth, and it's the Soldiers Burial Grounds at Fishkill Supply Depot, and this was compiled on May 21st, 2025. Lance's conclusion: existing records, archaeological examinations, historical research, and recording statements combine to indicate that the 14 known burials located directly north of the intersection of Van Wyck Lake Road and US Route 9 in Fishkill are Revolutionary War soldiers. If it's okay, I'd just go over the key findings that Lance has put together. And the first one is that since at least 1848, multiple written accounts by historians and government agencies have described both the existence and precise location of a soldier's burial ground, which resulted from the many deaths that occurred during the Continental Army's occupation of the Fishkill Supply Depot from 1776 to 1783. During that same span, no records have emerged indicating that the burial grounds is either a Van Wyck family plot or other civilian cemetery. Further, any other known Van Wyck family plots, such as the one adjacent to St. Columba Church in Hopewell, which is clearly distinguished as such. Archaeological exams conducted in 2007 and 2013 identify a total of 14 burial grounds, 4 of which were either examined and confirmed to contain human remains. Ongoing historical research conducted by the Friends of the Fishkill Supply Depot, published on our website and our tribute wall, identify 88 patriots by name who were perished in Fishkill at the time of the American Revolution. The research spans primary sources contemporary to the war, such as the New York Packet, published by Fishkill's own Samuel Loudon, unit muster rolls, and soldier service records. And then number 5, while local cemeteries such as Roundout, Trinity Church, and others are home to burials of the American Revolutionary soldiers, these burials occurred after, not during, the American Revolutionary War, and do not account for any of the 88 patriots already identified. And then number 6 finding, during a radio interview held on Friday, February 6, 2015, on WKIP AM 1450, landowner Dominic Broccoli openly admitted that his property contained a Revolutionary War burial ground and stated, "I'm very proud that I found the soldiers." Okay. Now, Lance included references that led to his conclusion, so I'll just kind of go through each one. You can follow along, and then also the public can be aware of where we're getting this information from. The first one is a pictorial field book of the American Revolutionary War by Benjamin Lousing, published in 1860. And it quotes it as, "The barracks are about a half-mile south of the village, extending along the line of the road to the foot of the mountains. The headquarters of the office were Mr. Van Wyck's, then was called the property of Mr. Wharton. From this circumstance, it's known as the Wharton House. The burial place of the soldiers is at the foot of the mountains where the road of Isaac Van Wyck branches eastward from the turnpike." Okay, and then if you look, there's a map dated back to 1858, and this shows the location of the property owned by Isaac Van Wyck. And then if you go on to the next page, another reference came from Philip H. Smith, General History of Dutchess County, from 1609 to 1876, and it's published in 1877. And it refers to the Soldiers' Burial Ground in Fishkill, New York. It's listed on page 189, and it follows, quote, "Near this residence, referred to as the Wharton House, aka the Van Wyck homestead, by a large black walnut tree," said Mr. Brinkerhoff before quoted, "at least, and east of the road near the base of the mountains was the soldier burial ground." Again, that was published in 1877. Then we go on to number 4, James H. Smith, History of Dutchess County, published in 1882. And that will refer to the soldiers' burial ground in his book on page 139. And it's quoted as, "It is doubtful whether any spot in the state has as many buried dead of the Revolution as this quiet spot." Smith also wrote, "Near this, off the road near the base of the mountain, near this residence by the large black walnut trees," said Mr. Brinkerhoff, before quoted, "and east of the road near the base of the mountain was the soldier burial ground. This almost unknown and unnoticed burial ground holds not a few, but hundreds of those who gave their lives in the cause of the American independence." Again, that goes back to 1882. Then in 1897, U.S. Army General and hero of Civil War Daniel Butterfield spoke of the dedication of the DAR monument at the Soldiers' Burial Ground in Fishkill, New York, describing the settling as follows. Quote, "The barracks were in the fields, all along the village, in front of the memorial. We are here to dedicate the hospital and cemetery behind it." And at the time of this dedication, the DAR monument rested along the east side of the post road, with the etched remarks facing westward. So that's important to understand because that's, I think, come up for some dispute. And again, that was from Daniel Butterfield in 1897. Now we're moving on to the 20th century. So this is in the Old Dutch is Forever by Henry Noble McCracken, published in 1856. He's quoted as saying, "Not only the wounded, but the hospitalized soldiers were buried in the base of the mountain east of the high road, Route 9. And that's on page 356 of his book. And then we go to 1972. Archaeological surveys show the placement of the DAR monument. So again, this is an important document to look at. I wrote it as page 5, but if you see here, it says Fishkill Supply Depot, 1972, and you can see where it's highlighted in a yellow box there for those of you guys following along. Okay, then we move on to a Poughkeepsie Journal article dated September 24th, 1979, describing the location of the DAR monument, which is marked the Soldiers' Burial Ground. And if you look in the article here, the monument stood along Route 9 near Moog's Farm restaurant. And today that's Cafe Maya, for those who don't know that. So again, that seems to be in agreement with the other ones. Then we go to number 9. So this gets us to 2007. An archaeological examine by the Greenhouse Consultants, GCI, located 8 features south of the run that were interpreted as grave shafts. And what that means is there's partial remaining skull was identified in one of these shaft features. And again, this goes back to the Hunter report, and that's dated on 2016 in the Hunter report, pages 4 through 9. And we gave a copy of the Hunter's report last year to the board. And then we go to number 10 here, the SHPO archaeologist Dud Mackey's letter, then properly releases Scott Jurgis, dated April 8th, 2009, in which he stated, the current Greenhouse Consultants, GCI, studied, identified a number of grave shafts in the southern end of the property, and the JMA, John Milner Associates, ground penetrating radar study suggests that there are hundreds of graves present. This same letter is on file with the Fishkill Planning Board. And then number 11, I just want to bring to your attention that Dominic Broccoli hasn't quoted in his on-air interview, just to follow up on their earlier findings. Here, at a minute 34 and 13 seconds, Mr. Broccoli says, quote, there are graves here. There's not even a question about that. And in 2007, when we discovered the graves, I made it known at that point I would preserve regardless of the size, and the archaeologist looked at me and said, I guess we found the graves and we found the bones of a soldier. And he said, I guess this is going to hamper you in your plans. And I said before, I'm a builder. I'm an American. And regardless of the size of the cemetery, graveyard, burial grounds, it will be preserved. So in 2007, I said that, and that's why I don't understand why there is this, fight over preserving it, because that's not even an issue. So that's his quote. And then he goes on at minute 35 and 43 seconds, and they talk about the burial ground. That is a mass burial ground, and there's stories about burials being across the street, under the roads, but nothing has ever been documented until the digs that I did. And I'm very proud that I found the soldiers. So again, that's, then Mr. Broccoli went on and, erected a following marker on his property as further proof of the existence and location of the soldiers' burials. And that was dedicated in 2014. And it's a nice memorial. It says, in memory of those who served in the Continental Army while at the Fishkill Supply Depot, near here lie buried American Revolutionary War heroes, patriots, who were among the first to have fought for our freedom. On behalf of these valiant soldiers, we dedicate this monument to their courage and to all men and women who have answered the call of duty to serve this great nation. This was placed by the veterans of the United States Armed Services on Veterans Day, November 11th, 2014. So you can see it goes back, according to my math, I think it's 178 years of documentation. So that's pretty extensive by Mr. Ashworth. And again, I'll try to answer any questions if you have them. Again, I did not present this. I didn't do the research, but I'm happy to deliver these remarks. Okay, so I'll...
You got any extra copies?
Yeah, I do.
I just need one more. What, 2 extras again? All right, good, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else would like to speak today? It's an item, Mr. Broccoli, you can speak. It's not a presentation, so you can speak as much as you want, but you can give me something like that if you have it. That's a presentation. You don't, it's not a presentation today. No. You can come back. You can, I'll let you speak at the second period.
I've given you documents like that.
Okay.
Just so you understand, well, you'll never understand, because when I do tell you things, you don't listen anyhow, Ozzy. Back in 2014, my story starts about that time, because I, like you, were confused, and I didn't understand what the truth was. And what he's saying is true. I did say these things on the radio show, and the reason why I did that is because at the time, I was trying to see what was going on with my property. Because I was there in 2007 when the grave was discovered. And we did find human remains, there's no question about that. But there was no artifacts or anything to identify if that body, the human remains that were there, was a soldier or who it was. Again, I didn't know myself. In 2014, I had an investigator that Mr. Ashworth recruited to join his group. And what I was doing is I was sending out signals. And I was trying to find out what the truth was, why these people were saying what they were saying, because when I was there, again, Bill Sandy, the gentleman the archaeologist who joined this group, was one of the archaeologists who worked for the firm that we hired that discovered the graves. And then he joins this group. And when he joins this group, all of a sudden he says that soldiers are buried on my property. And I know that wasn't true because I was there. And when we found the graves in 2007, he said to me, and I showed you this document last time, he said to me, this can't be, this is a lost family soldier, a lost family cemetery from the Van Wyck homestead. There are Van Wyck family members that they don't know where they were buried. He said it was the lost Van Wyck family members. And he had told me that at the time, but I never had that on video, nor did I, because I filmed them when they dug. Make a long story short, I found that document a couple of years ago. It was in SHPO. It was in the office at SHPO. I presented it at one of the meetings. That document wasn't in my report. The person behind this scam was the gentleman he mentioned, Doug Mackey. When I went forward with my development, Doug Mackey was told to retire. He had to leave SHPO. He was only in his early 50s, and he left because he was too close to this organization. Because Doug Mackey fudged along with Bill Sandy, they fudged my archaeological report, okay? This is what we discovered. So why did I say that there were soldiers buried on my property? Because I knew that would agitate them. And I knew my investigator would capture these things on tape. They would talk about where the soldiers are buried, or they would talk about things such as that. So make a long story short, that actually did work.
I never knew at the Presbyterian cemetery that supposedly when you came out the door of the building, it's not there anymore, the church is not there anymore.
Oh.
In front of you where you came out, there was supposedly a mass grave of soldiers there.
Talking about the Rumbout Cemetery. This is Mr. Ashworth. This is the Friends of the Fishkill Supply.
Throw it out there. I just
Now
never
Mr.
knew there was
Ashworth
soldiers buried up
speaks.
there.
Let's put it this way, is at some point we're going to come to consensus on how many are buried here in this particular spot. When you add it to the Roundabout Cemetery that's by the Brinkerhoff House.
That's what I'm talking about.
When you add it to the Trinity Church, when you add it to the Dutch Reformed Church, by and large, I'm sure Fishkill blows away the rest of the towns of the Revolution and buried soldiers, so.
And it was all still part of the depot, because
all
any of
part
those
of the
churches, they, Dr. Graham's building was the hospital, so where would they have buried them? They would have been nearby.
They used that.
That cemetery, probably.
Well, they used that church.
Yeah.
There was a church in the middle of the cemetery.
Yeah.
That church was used as a hospital also. But they said that there was they said it wasn't big, but there was a group of soldiers that were mass buried there without any headstones out in front of the church.
So that's the 3 places that they had soldiers buried, and it's in the DAR speeches. I know that Keith is a very nice gentleman. I have nothing against you, Keith. The DAR speech speaks of the yonder barracks and cemetery where the soldiers lie. That's where the redoubts are. That was the lower barracks. And they talk about Trinity Church where the soldiers were piled high. The dead soldiers were piled high. So if you know, just so you understand why I could prove this is true beyond a reasonable doubt, is because if you read the Hunter report, you would think the DAR speech would be in the Hunter report. It's not. Why? Because they don't want you to know about it. You would think the Friends of the Fishkill Supply Depot would have the entire DAR speech, not just one segment that he read from Butterfield's speech, okay? Because Butterfield does say at Trinity Church where the bodies were piled high. I have the poster, but I guess I can't show it to you. So my point is, this is the biggest con game ever. The archaeological con game that they played is just unbelievable. In 2020, I had a 30-minute podcast, and I talked about how I discovered through evidence, archaeological evidence, photographic evidence, email evidence. I had a half-hour podcast and accused an FBI agent, Lance Ashworth's an FBI agent, and a registered professional archaeologist of digging up one of the graves and planting modern metal, which I believe is buttons and buckles because of all the recordings I have of Mr. Ashworth claiming buckles and buttons were discovered in the grave, when in fact that's not true. So that's why I feel I know they planted this in one of the graves and they try to get the town to force me to dig. And I've been fighting this war for 10 years and I won't give in. You understand? Because it's a scam. It's a pure scam. So if you want to place a monument or you want to know where the soldiers are buried, I'll give you the locations based on documents, the DAR, which you placed that monument that you said the DAR marker marked the location of cemetery. It was dedicated to the lower barracks and Trinity Church. And then when the outbreak of smallpox occurred, they used the other hospitals, churches, as hospitals, Trinity and Rumbout Cemetery, and they buried the soldiers there. I told you there was a GPR study was done at Rumbout Cemetery in 2018, and they found areas, and the lady was here and she spoke, they found areas of mass burials. She says in her GPR, she found that bodies were stacked on top of bodies. There were multiple areas of this of mass burials. And she said that above one of the mass burials, a few inches under the dirt, they uncovered a monument that was a soldier's monument. So in her report, there was no question there are mass burials of soldiers buried at Rumbout. Now, Mr. Ashworth gave information about where the road turns off the turnpike. It was at the base of the mountain. Okay. During the Revolution, the Van Wyck Lake Road next to my property did not exist. It existed in 1850. In 1842, in my archaeological report, Barber and Howe, they quote Barber and Howe, because they fudged my report, you understand? Just like they fudged the comprehensive plan, that was all fudged, what they said. Mr. Mackey was behind that. Anyhow, in 1842, they quote Barber and Howe, where the road turns off the turnpike to the east. If you read it, it's to the east of the village. No road existed at Van Wyck Lake Road in 1842. It was 1850 is the first documented photo, or I mean map, of showing that road. So it didn't exist. Where the road existed, or that turns off the turnpike to the east of the village of Fishkill, is 52 and 82, the Rumbout Cemetery. So you have archaeological evidence, you have historical evidence, you have all the evidence you want. I mean, I know that you're laughing throughout this. You think it's funny. You asked for the locations of the soldier cemeteries. Why do you find this humiliating, funny, Ozzy? Could you answer that?
Funny.
Well, you're laughing the whole presentation. You were smiling. I know, smiling.
I'm glad you came here today.
No, but I know you're laughing at. I didn't see you laugh at Riley. I'm giving you information that's verified. Why doesn't Mr. Ashworth, in his deposition, when he was under oath, he himself said he doesn't know if soldiers are buried there. So I don't understand how this guy all of a sudden comes up with all this evidence claiming he knows where the soldiers are buried. That I don't understand. So.
Thank you for your time, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you for letting me speak, guys.
My pleasure. Anybody else?
Let me ask you a question. Are you bringing this to vote today?
No.
This is just a discussion?
No, just since you're here and you want to go home, I'm going to gather up all the information, and if there's enough, I'll create a presentation and have a resolution for it.
But Ozzy, remember on the 20th?
You asked the question, I gave you the answer.
No, but I gave you boxes of information, and you said that you didn't want to look at it. You didn't want to spend money to look into it. This was a 5-year seeker approved process I went through. Even the chairwoman removed the words Soldier Cemetery that are located on my property, because obviously after all 5 years, she finally realized it's not true. We presented everything. I had professional archaeologists. We did archaeological digs. So I don't understand why a discussion like this is going to change anything. Could you explain that?
Nope.
There's no real evidence. This is all secondary information, no primary source evidence. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time. Mr. Bucari?
Hello. Rob Bucari, Town of Fishkill historian. I want to end this on a positive note. The argument about the burial ground aside, Fishkill is that important to the American Revolution. The 250th anniversary of July 4th is happening. I want to thank the board for supporting the 250th anniversary on June 5th. We're going to do a huge presentation at Dutchess Stadium, and that's because of certain members of this board that are very involved. And I want to thank the whole board in general, but especially Ozzy, Brian, everyone that's been this involved. I appreciate it, and I know the people of Fishkill will.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else would like to speak? Okay. Liaison member reports. Jackie, you got anything? Councilwoman Bardini?
No, nothing.
Greg, Councilman?
Let me begin by saying if, like me, you were observing Ash Wednesday today, I hope that it was a meaningful day for you as we begin the time of Lent. For everyone who began observing Ramadan last night, Ramadan Kareem, I hope that you have an easy month of fasting as you look forward to Eid coming up, and likewise to everyone who celebrated the Lunar New Year yesterday as we arrive in the Year of the Horse. A wonderful celebration to you all. I hope you had a very meaningful time with family. Only thing I'd like to report is that last week Jay and Marianne and Lauren did a phenomenal job with the seniors for the Valentine's Day luncheon. It was my pleasure to be there along with Louise and a couple of our county legislators, Yvette Valdez-Smith, our legislature chair, and Molly Rhodes, who is a new county legislator representing part of the town of Fishkill. It was great to be there with the seniors. The DJ did a phenomenal job, and without bragging too much, I sang a pitch-perfect rendition of Tequila. That's all I got.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Priscilla, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good.
Tequila.
Didn't have a lot of time to visit the town this week as I was in New York City at the New York State Association of Towns annual conference and meeting. It's quite an event. They put on a really good conference. Got a lot out of it, and I'm sure there's a lot of discussions that's going to come out of that as we move ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Don. Councilman Rye.
I know that the town hall is closed for President's Day, and again, it's a great small commemoration for our great country, and I know people enjoy the day off, but it's a good time, especially during the 250th, to reflect. And I'm sorry I missed the Valentine's Day celebration. I'm getting over a bug. I didn't feel like coming and spreading it with the seniors. And I know it was fantastic because they always do great things with the seniors. And that would be it.
All right, thank you, Councilman. Thank you, Brian. I just want to bring up a couple things. Mr. Nugent, the thing with the getting the SLAP lawsuit money, can we take that over and make an effort to get that?
Yeah, if the town paid the money, you could do an assignment, in other words, of Ms. Daniele's rights to that money over to the town and then collect, presuming the town was the one that actually incurred the costs.
All right. Could we get a resolution for the next meeting to get that done?
Sure.
Okay. My next question is, we talked about earn time for the salary positions. I think we agree with 35 hours and 3 pay periods for 6 weeks. Do you remember that?
I don't know. For
earn time, like people working more, and right now I believe it's, you have to use the time before your pay period.
Oh, the comp time we're talking
Comp time,
about.
yeah, the comp time. Do you remember the numbers?
I thought it was 25 and 3.
No.
But it was 25 hours and 3 pay periods.
3 pay periods?
Yeah. If I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, I know you're back and forth on a couple of numbers, but ultimately you had a cap that they had to use it. In other words, within, I don't know if it was 3 pay periods, though?
I know, we agreed on 3
We agreed on 3 pay periods.
Okay.
The hours, I want to knock this out. What hours are good?
I think 25 is sufficient.
Per pay period, though, or total?
Within the 3.
Total.
Within the 3 pay periods.
Yeah.
Any number? You good? 25 hours, 3 pay periods? Can we have a resolution for that for the next meeting? 25 hours to be used within.
25 hours to be used within 3 pay periods.
3 pay periods, yep.
And you guys bi-weekly or week?
Bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly, so
6 weeks. Then I got a question for you regarding planning board. Can a planning board chairperson and the board vote on changing the comprehensive plan on their own?
Can who vote on it?
Can the planning board chairperson and the planning board vote to change the comprehensive plan by a vote? The individual earlier mentioned that the planning board chair struck out the part. There's a portion in our town comprehensive plan that states the town of Fishkill will do what it takes to preserve the burial ground. He said, and I believe at the meeting, the planning board chair took that out to vote for his approvals. Can a chairperson do that with our?
No, I mean, an amendment to the comp plan is an entire process that is typically done by the town board unless you designate a board for that purpose, a comprehensive plan committee. So no other board could amend the comprehensive plan.
We dissolved that board.
No. The planning board chair said that part didn't exist. I don't know. I don't want to get into the exact details. I don't remember the videotape, but he was correct that he asked them to remove it, and they removed it before they gave him his preliminary approval. But they can't do that, correct?
No, again, a comprehensive plan can only be amended initially by the town board. You can create a plan committee, but it goes through an entire process. If there's a change, if something's in the comp plan, it's in the comprehensive plan in the
And
town.
they just can't change it or disregard it.
No. No, any acts of the town have to be consistent with your comprehensive plan.
That is good to know.
That's big news.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up is a public hearing on a local law to add a third deputy to Chapter 21, Town Employees to the Town Code for a third deputy tax receiver. I'll make a motion to open up the public hearing. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any questions from the public? Any questions from the town board?
Well, I mean, I'd like to know, where there's an org chart for everybody right now, because we've systematically, we have an elected official that normally runs this office, but we've taken over those duties and hired other people. I mean, who answers to who, and where are we absolutely improving efficiency for the town? And, is this something that Cooper feels is necessary? I mean, it would be good to have his input on that. I have these questions. Obviously, we want to get everything filed. Obviously, we want to do it on time. Obviously, there's no question about that. It's just, I just feel like there was at one particular time to be a discussion for a central cashier. And we moved away from that, and there are now all these people. So I have a question: who answers to who? What are their exact duties? Is time being utilized correctly? These are just simple questions in the organization before we add somebody else. I know that we had a vote on something the other week, but these are questions that just keep, upon reading this, popping in my mind. I think they're legitimate concerns.
Oh, absolutely. So basically what we have is, we have a tax receiver office and we have a town clerk's office. Prior to any of us being on this town board, they kept everything in that office. The town of East Fishkill, we're about 25,000 people. The town of East Fishkill is about 30,000 people. They have a full-time tax receiver and 2 full-time deputy tax receivers. The town of Wappingers, which is about our size, has a full-time tax receiver and a full-time deputy tax receiver. The town of Fishkill has 1 full-time tax receiver and a couple people that are part-time. So you can see where that could become a problem. And like I said, nobody here on this board set it up like this. All right? So what I'm trying to do is try to avoid creating the required full-time position to save the taxpayers money. And quite frankly, I don't think it's going to be feasible, so I think we're going to end up getting another full-time deputy tax receiver to match what East Fishkill and what Wappingers does. So I'm sorry that the town clerk might object to any duties or anything like that, but the previous supervisor had the town clerk and the deputy town clerk doing all those positions by themselves with a central cashier. The issue here with efficiency is things are getting done at a rapid pace. Things are going good. I have Cooper, who we appointed to, I'm not Cooper, Jason, who we appointed at the last meeting. He's getting the checks. They go to Catherine, where she's deposited them. Phone calls are being returned. Emails are being returned. I spent today about an hour talking about SCAR, which is where there's a, you ever see those, they send you a letter in the mail saying we can save you money on assessed value. So we had about 30 of those come in. We made deals with 10, and we got to figure out how to lower the bill. So that was a process amongst itself to figure out how do we get that done right. Yes, I didn't move on the central cashier because I'm not sure if that's going to work. And I'm trying to be economic with the taxpayer dollars, but I can understand how the town clerk feels differently. But I'd like to remind the town clerk that the previous town supervisor put a lot more burdens on his office than what I did with his predecessor and himself. I've been very generous, very kind, but then sometimes you just have to move on something. And I'd like to get this third deputy in and reevaluate and hopefully hire a full-time person before school tax season starts. So those are my thoughts. Councilman, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I think, Brian, those remarks that you made were very well taken. And I think
Yes.
it is important to understand workflow and ensure that, that all parties are operating efficiently, that all work is being completed. And first off, I think we need to say that the collection of our taxes in the town of Fishkill is an efficient and accurate process, and everyone who is involved in that deserves credit for the role that they're playing. We've had some augmentations to that process to accommodate town employees as need be, in recognition of their dedication to the task and the quality of work that they deliver. I think, and you would agree, that the single most important function of the town board is to receive and spend and safeguard taxpayer dollars efficiently. And part of that means ensuring that the taxes which we collect, whether those are our town taxes, our county taxes, and in some cases the school taxes, which we do collect for the Wappinger School District properties in the town, that those are processed efficiently, timely, accurately, and tracked to the penny. And the supervisor brings up a very good point. The prior administrations in the town, presumably for cost-saving reasons, consolidated the functions of the town clerk and the functions of the tax receiver into the same set of people. I'm not a fan of this. I would like, and will lobby for, over the course of this year and in coming years, to the extent possible, separating those departments from each other as much as possible. The tax receiver is and should be a department head with a staff which reports to the tax receiver, and by extension, the tax receiver and that staff report to the town supervisor. And the town clerk is an elected official who has a laundry list of responsibilities which are extensive enough without the process of being involved in the collection of taxes. So I am very much in favor of, yes, let's make sure that we have the staff that we need to accurately and efficiently collect taxes for this year, and by the fall, have a new full-time permanent tax receiver, deputy tax receiver, and work at phasing out the tax collection responsibilities from the clerk's office, because the clerk and his deputy do a phenomenal job, and they have enough on their plates already. So I'm very much in favor of this now as part of a transitional process where we will phase out the clerk's office from the collection of taxes and allow the tax receiver to truly function as a department head and work with the town supervisor and the tax receiver's staff to continue the fantastic work that they're doing. Where I disagree with the supervisor, and I'm happy to say we can talk about it moving forward, is I do feel that we will need a central cashier position. Now, what the terms of that will be, when that person should start, exactly what their workflow will be, is something that we can discuss. But I will be asking in the near future that we reconsider that and place that on the agenda when the tax collection season is over and we've reached the end of that process.
What I would do is make the new deputy tax receiver also a central cashier. That would do both roles.
That would certainly be an efficient way of.
I was going to suggest that, because
we talked about
taxes are not a year-long thing. So if we have somebody in this position, I would envision them being responsible for other things.
And clear, taxes are a year-round thing, but the collection of them is not. Taxes are without a doubt a year-round thing, but the physical windows in which they're collected are not.
The majority of the work is 2 times a year, right?
Yes.
So, and that's when the things get heavy, and we don't want to fall behind. We want to deposit the checks, and so just having this person maybe wear more than one hat would be an efficient thing to do.
Collect.
So I don't know if we need to put that in the law, or maybe just put something.
No, this is totally different.
And other duties.
This is totally different. This has nothing to do with the full-time person in the future if we go that direction.
Okay.
Right.
I just wanted to try this to see if this could work, and if this could work, then I would have hired the part-time central cashier to be doing the same thing. But it seems that there's too many people getting their feathers ruffled. It's not worth the aggravation for me to deal with this stuff. So other municipalities some have 3 our size. Everyone have 2 full-time positions in the tax receiver's office. So, and what we did was we moved Jason, who was our legislative aide. It wasn't costing us nothing.
Yeah.
So I just.
To be clear, Supervisor, in those other municipalities, those full-time tax receiver positions were not occupied by anyone affiliated with the town clerk's office.
I can't say.
Those are separate departments?
There's 900 towns.
Can
I
I
can't give you an
finish?
answer.
No, I mean,
I wasn't
during
quite
this
finished, just so you know. I mean,
Yeah.
let me just
Jump
jump
right
in
in.
there. So, you said something that felt like I was speaking on behalf of Cooper. I'm not
I'm sorry.
interpreting any thoughts from him or any words from him. These are just my questions. You know, Lauren, was it Lauren that we hired?
Yes.
Is she still there?
She is.
Because we're not discussing, we say Catherine and Jason. What is she doing? I'm just curious.
So.
Is she helping you directly? Who helps you directly and works with you?
So
Lauren?
yeah, so Lauren works directly with me for me,
Okay.
and right now
Is that who you
she's-
manage?
Yes, that's who I manage.
Okay, but you don't manage anybody else?
No.
Okay.
So, right now she helps me with the town clerk responsibilities, and I've been training her with some of the central cashier processing.
Okay.
So how it's set up, Ryan, is right now, you're only allowed to have 2 deputies. So this is why we had to do the switch, because only 2 deputies can collect. All right? So I switched Jason in there. He takes it, reviews it, puts them in batches of 30, gives them to the tax receiver puts them in the computer, whatever she does. Then if there was excess water bills that came in, Lauren's been doing them. If there's excess stuff from rec or wherever else, building department, Cooper's been doing it. Is that kind of correct?
Kind of correct. She's also been, I've taught her how to do some of the recreation stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not hearing any major objections to this in the public, so I guess this is, everything can be readjusted, but if it's, at this particular point, really helping efficiency, getting the job done, and we're not missing out on depositing money, these are very important things.
Yeah, we could be, listen, if we hired a full-time person, we could drop back down to 2 deputies, you know what I mean? Or, you
Right.
know, that's how it can be. But yes, the next, if we do go full-time, the second one, it will also be the central cashier. It'd be a dual role.
Okay.
But, yeah, and if you don't mind, I just wanted to just clarify one last thing, though. Prior to this, right, we did have, like Becky with the role of clerk, Catherine, tax receiver, and then we did have a central cashier who did that separately from the duties. And while I'm just talking on it, it's just a matter, like, you have 3 essentially you have 3 separate kind of jobs, if you want to think of it that way, all kind of time sensitive in their own way. Because you have like town clerk stuff regarding filing, foils, just for examples. You have texting, like tax receiving, which, collecting taxes, make sure that's deposited in time. Same thing with the central cashiering.
Right.
Just separate elements. But yeah, given my own thoughts on it too, if the idea is to kind of eventually kind of split the duties in a sense, that might not necessarily be a bad thing. And then also, again, my own opinion, but it varies. That was just the central cashier stuff, because you want to make sure all stuff gets deposited. You want to make sure everything is handled timely, and so sometimes there can be overlaps with that. So that's just an important thing. So if, central cashier is a potential thing, that'd be great. That'd be something I'd suggest. But, if the idea is to have basically the deputy tax receiver, I think Jason now, to start doing the central cashiering stuff kind of in between,
No.
Okay.
But I think we are
No,
talking
once-
about
once-
the possibility
once
of
Jason-
new full-time.
Once it gets filed with the State Department, Lauren's going to go back to doing what she was doing, collecting the taxes and helping you. And then once the main 90% of this, 95% of this tax receiving stuff is done, Jason goes back to whatever his other duties were. And if he gets busy with taxes, you call him, he'll come back in the office and help you. He's not going to be just standing there just collecting stuff. He's a legislative aide.
No.
We put him where we need him.
Yeah.
Right now, we need him to collect taxes.
Right, but that's what I meant was like also like processing some of the central cashier stuff. That's what I was. Like,
Yeah,
what
no.
the board just was talking about.
He's not going to be a central cashier.
Yeah, that wouldn't be what we would be using him for. If we're going to be looking at a at a new hire for central cashier, that would be a different person
Oh,
other than Jason.
Yes.
The point
But that
that's
would be
being
a
made.
potential
Yeah.
thing?
Dual
We're
role.
not saying no to the idea of a central cashier. We're
Okay.
saying that Jason will not be right now, what matters is that Jason is assisting Catherine with the
The
tax
tax
receiving.
receiving.
And that we can look at a different potential individual
For
to
a
provide assistance on the central
Central
cashier
cashier,
side.
so like a potential central cashier later on.
Yes.
Yes, and
Okay.
these are conversations that we'll have and move forward with throughout the year
Okay.
as we see how things progress.
All right, we good, guys?
I'm good with this.
Make a motion to close the public hearing. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Discussions, we had a nice discussion on the Revolutionary Burial Ground. These is just my thoughts before we go any more further. What is the first meeting of May, Cooper?
Let's see here. First meeting of May is May 6th.
So May 6th, mark me down for a presentation.
Okay.
I'm going to make a presentation to see whether this is or not a Revolutionary War burial ground.
This meaning the supply depot.
Yes. That's all I have to add to this right now. Anybody else has any questions?
No, I appreciated the Friends of the Fishkill Supply Depot and Mr. Broccoli for coming in and presenting their information, and it would be good for the town board to consider.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot more than he presented, but we'll get to that. And I'll make a presentation to the town board, and I'll take what direction you guys offer, because it takes 3 votes to get something passed here. So I just want to make sure it's all going to be done proper and out in the open. Don, any questions?
Nope, makes sense.
Brian?
Not at this time.
Okay. Next up is discussion of water leak forgiveness program. So this comes up 4 or 5 times a year. I bring it to the attention of the board, and we go back and forth. We do it, then we don't do it. I'd like to have some set policy where if there's a broken pipe, you guys allow me to give like a 20% break. If it's a leaking toilet, like a 10% break, because that's basic maintenance. And have Mr. Nugent write something up. This way I don't have to bring it to the town board. I can just do it on my own. Can we make that happen?
I mean, I'm in agreement to have a policy in place, there's no doubt about it, because we have been dealing with this, there's no doubt. It's just the number. You know, I kind of like what Jackie had indicated at one point. I don't know if that's too rich for the town. Jackie,
is it?
did you want to
Yeah, so
elaborate on
what
that?
I was saying, you know, these things happen. I mean, I had a pipe bust in my house last week, too.
Can you speak into the mic, please?
So I am. So
I can't hear.
I think that it's fair to take, you know, whatever the person's average water bill would be, and that would be what they pay as, you know, instead of saying this percentage, that percentage, you know, just whatever their average water bill would be, and take that off whatever this high bill would be as a result of a pipe breaking, or, you know, a toilet running and you're away on vacation for 2 weeks. I just think that's fairer that way.
I would sort of need to defer to the town attorney on this and just simply ask, is there a threshold, a dollar amount that we would be sort of capped at before we would run out of the ability to be discretionary regarding forgiving customers for leaks, at which point it would then sort of becoming a gift of public funds?
Well, yeah, I think if you just absolutely, and that's why we discussed in the sample policies, I think it was New York City, you have a lot of cases, it's once a year, so, you know, you can't keep getting forgiveness multiple times during the year, right or wrong. You know, that's one cap. The other one, some use a percentage, you know, of a bill, or can't be more than, you know, a certain percentage over. You know, average bill could work too. I think the only problem with that is, you say average, that could be an average of 12 months, where it'd make more sense to look back at a similar period of usage, because somebody has a sprinkler system in July or August, or, you know, they might be significantly higher. And if the leak occurs at that time, you know, it might be a different result than if it was in January.
Right.
So I think, you know, the concept is good, but it should probably be relating
The
to...
town does send our water bills out on a quarterly basis, so perhaps it would be
I
useful
think-
to look back at that analogous quarter.
That quarter, yeah,
previous
you
year.
know.
Yeah, I think let's just keep it at a percentage. You want to bring it up a little bit, Jackie, to 20 to 25, from 10 to 15? That's a lot more cleaner. I don't have to go to the water department to go look at stuff and figure out all this up, it's just gonna be more work.
Yo, I think what you're talking about, Supervisor, is kind of part of the policy is at what point can you do it before it would need to go to the board, I guess?
Well,
What percent?
The key here is, when I tell the citizen, the rules are, I can give you 25%, that ends it.
Right,
It gives me something to say. This way they can't say, how about another $100 or whatever?
yeah.
Or come into the town board, so then you guys don't have to deal with this.
Are we going to limit it to once in a lifetime?
Once a year, once a year.
Once
Yeah,
a year
that's
for
common.
someone?
Want to do once every 2 years? You tell me.
I think I mean,
Can we
if
do
you
once
got
every
a
2
leak
years?
once every year, then, you know, you got issues.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I was thinking once every
And
5
that would be
years,
up-
but if you want to do 2
That would be,
years.
up to me to either grant it. So if I could tell January 1st and the next year, January 2nd, it comes with the same nonsense, I could just say no.
Yeah, I don't think we need to open it up to like, okay, you can get this, you know, forgiveness once every year or every 2 years.
I would
Just
just
leave it
be
alone?
happy to say it as a one-time occurrence.
No.
I think I agree with a one-time.
I mean, because presumably, if there is a leak, you know, that resident will attend to it in a relatively timely fashion. Certainly within, you know, the next quarterly billing cycle after the leak becomes apparent to them when they receive the bill. So I have no issue with the idea of making some accommodation during that first bill when that leak is discovered. But I'm not fond of the idea of establishing a renewing policy where every 2 years you can come back and ask for assistance. Because, you know, as a property owner, presumably, you do have an obligation to see to the maintenance of your home infrastructure. If it's a leak that you would be responsible for that's affecting your water bill, you know, we're happy to accommodate the period of discovery, but it can't be an ongoing.
Yeah. So, I mean, you put this document in here from Flushing, New York, I guess as kind of an example of a town doing something?
I would just like it, something really simple. Give me a percent for like a pipe broke or like a toilet leak. A break and a leak, a percentage for that, and one time for the property owner that owns the house. If they sell the house and it's a new property owner 5 years down the road, it starts over. That's all I really care about, guys.
Right,
I don't need to get into, it could be a one paragraph law.
I understand.
Keep
It
it
should be
real
very
simple.
simple and very
Exactly.
easy, you know.
So you guys okay with 25% for a break and 15% for a leak?
Yeah. Are you going to have them come in and say, okay,
No.
I have it fixed now?
Well,
You know,
for a break, for example, the last one I got, the guy paid $3,000 to fix the pipe. So I didn't even bring it to your attention until I got that. So he showed that to me. So if you don't got something like that, I'm not gonna give you a break.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
You wanna add that, Mr. Nugent, saying that?
Yeah, I have those notes, but to Councilman DeTino's point, I think also you need the diligence factor too, because if they've had a bill and it clearly showed a leak and then another 2 quarters go by and now they're asking for forgiveness,
Yeah.
there should be a, you know, time at which you should have determined that you had a problem, and then the forgiveness would only be for that portion, but not if you let it go on for another quarter or two.
Precisely.
No more
my
than two,
concern.
no more than 2 quarters. No
I
more
think
than 2
one,
quarters.
I mean, I'm
I
saying
think
within a
towards the
time.
quarter in which it was discovered.
Yeah, well, within a time after the first bill was issued, in other words, where they show a leak, right? If you look at the quarterly bill, and clearly that's where the
Okay.
numbers went
I'm
up,
fine with that.
then let's just say
90
within
days?
a month of that bill being sent out, you know, they should have reported it. Otherwise,
okay.
you
I
know,
like
I see
to
what
keep
you're
it
saying.
simple. The bell was usually 100, now it's 400. I don't wanna go back quarters. 1 quarter is fine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
One quarter,
1 quarter.
yeah, 1 quarter. All right, we're good?
I
think
do
one
do have one other
One-time forgiveness,
thing,
25 and 15.
you know, about the one-time forgiveness. Only because that's happened to me, and I'm sure it's happened to other people. About 5 years ago, I had a pipe burst. I think it was a defect in the pipe, and, you know, I had a waterfall in my basement from the laundry room above. Last week, I had another pipe burst, but it was from the outside, that, you know, the spigot and all that water was directed in the house. So I'm just saying, you know, it has nothing to do with maintenance. The pipes burst,
Right.
either one froze and the other one had a defect.
Well, I think if
So
we're
I'm
talking
just
about
saying,
separate
5
incidents-
years or something
I'll do 5
like that?
years.
Well, I'm saying, if we're talking about separate incidents that are clearly documentably unrelated to each other, then I would have no issue with
so
it.
make it
You know,
work.
if you have a leak in July, you get a reduction on that quarter's bill. And then the following spring, you have a line break somewhere in the house and there's a flood. and you bring in the paperwork that says I had this line break and here's my resulting water bill, I don't see why there couldn't be an accommodation twice because the two incidents are unrelated. My concern is if someone's got a slow leak that's driving up the water bill by 25%, and they just never really attend to it, but they come back on a yearly basis asking for a 20% reduction on their water bill without ever fixing the problem, then they're no longer using that program for what it's intended.
So
to
we
Yeah, you
want
guys- you need
evidence
some
of
standards.
mitigation.
Right.
that
You
we
need some
to-
standards, because sometimes, for example, a broken pipe, somebody's home, it happens, usually the water's shut off, so you're not gonna have some
Let's make the broken
enormously
pipe,
large bill
once every 5 years,
as a max.
as a max.
Okay.
And the other one, the leak, no return on the leak. That's it. One shot on that one.
Okay.
5 years is good. All right?
Good.
All right?
Okay.
All right. Man. 15 minutes on, 50
Tough
minutes on
crowd,
leaks.
aren't we?
Go from burial grounds to leaks, only in Fishkill. All right. Next up is agreement for monies for a highway. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 4, discussion of the transfer of 15% of park rental fees for rec. So basically, the rec signs people up, and they get a portion for administrative fees. We've been doing that. Everybody okay with that?
Absolutely.
That's good.
Next up, discussion of resolution to modify the 2026 adopted budget for encumbrances. Everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Standard annual procedure, correct? Yep.
And number 6, I do have some issues with number 6, discussion of adding citizen liaison policy. I'm okay with most of it. I just have a, let me find this guy. Where is it?
There.
I know C.
No, I think C is good.
No, it does, but I just, it says, or take any other act under the
Yeah.
cover of the town's authority.
So that right there covers number E. I think we could just get rid of E. Get
Oh,
rid
yeah,
of
it's like color
paragraph
of
E.
law, kind of a reference to,
Oh, okay.
under the town's authority.
Yeah, so I think we can get rid of section E.
Wait a second.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have the full packet. I have to pull it up. Give me a moment.
Because you spotted it, Brian. C, any official act, that covers E, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then I want to cut out part of F, and then I'm good to go with this.
What part of
Wait.
F did you want to cut
Can
out?
you just go back, Supervisor, what on C?
I don't know that
I think C, the thing says any official acts, I think it covers E. I just don't like section E. I want to get rid of it. I'm not for section E. And then I got a line I want to take out of F, otherwise it looks good.
Okay. What do you want to take out of that?
Well, let's finish E first.
Okay.
Brian's looking at it.
Greg, what do you think?
Forgive me, I'm now pulling this up again. I didn't have the full packet with me.
Right here.
No, thank you.
This covers
Greg and
all
I
that.
worked on this for everyone's.
And then I'm going to cut these lines out. I think it's not respectful.
I think it's essential.
What?
I think the entire paragraph F is essential.
I disagree. Okay.
I like it.
I feel the entirety of paragraph F is essential.
Sorry, can we start with E, just so we're going in order? You were saying
no,
strike.
No, not F. I'm talking E. You okay with getting rid of E?
Oh, I'm entirely okay with getting rid of E.
So we all
Okay.
agree with getting rid of E?
Yeah, if we agree that the qualifying language in paragraph C covers everything that was stated
Yeah.
under
Yeah.
E, then E is unnecessary.
Okay.
So scratch
If it's
E.
redundant, we can get rid of it altogether.
All right, then F, it says, "The liaison will perform the duties only during which times associated directly with their assigned duties." I'm okay with that. This is what I'm not okay with. At no time will it be acceptable to become a constant presence in the ongoing functions of the area office. Department or programs or this could be construed as interference. I don't see where that's even appropriate to put in here. Then liaisons shall not be provided with office space, I agree with that, or town equipment, I agree with that, or services for performance of the liaison duties, I agree with all that. I just don't see why it would say is constructed as interference, by just being there to watch, to
I would
supervise.
be perfectly fine with removing the language which says as such may be construed as interference, but I think it's absolutely essential to establish that at no point will it be permitted for a liaison to be a constant presence. I mean, if we were to appoint a liaison to the highway department, I think it would be entirely inappropriate for that person to spend 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, hanging around Carmine.
Who's hanging around with who? I don't.
No, I'm saying that being a constant presence within the space of the department for which a liaison
I
is
think
appointed.
this is a standard in
could-
case somebody decides they want to do that. It's just good to know up front. You know, when there's a function you should attend it, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
Well, the fact that they're present doesn't mean they're interfering, so that's
Right,
kind
which is
of.
why I'm perfectly content with removing the language which would suggest interference. I'm perfectly fine removing that language. But I think it should be specified that since they do not have an office and they do not have regular hours of operation, that it would not be permitted or approved of by the town board for that liaison, for whatever department they're liaising to essentially be there all the time.
I go back to number C, any official acts. I don't see
It's
why.
not a question of official acts, it's a question of, I mean, let's just say.
Yeah,
for
remember, this is gonna be for liaisons.
Supervisor, just hear me
Well,
out.
it says right in
Supervisor,
C.
Would you be comfortable if the town board were to appoint a liaison, citizen liaison, to the supervisor's office, and that liaison were to arrive at town hall at 8 a.m. every morning, sit down in the chair opposite the secretary's desk, and simply be there for the entire day, and observing everyone who's coming in and out and hearing all of the conversations which are being had within the office of the town supervisor? Or would you feel that a degree of confidentiality and an ability to operate within your own discretion would be an essential part of the duties of your
I
office?
totally disagree. It's a different position, different responsibilities. No, not at all. When the people come in for they do that thing with the camera, they come in, they just came in about 2 weeks ago. I
Right.
welcome into my office, I let them go around town hall, we have nothing to hide. I just don't see the purpose of, we're only
Yeah.
here down to 2 sentences, that's what we're talking about.
I think in C, you also already have that.
Yeah,
You don't
the
want
C, any official
to
acts.
inhibit actions,
I don't-
you know.
Well, I think there should be a very big distinction between any official acts, because any official acts means doing something in an official capacity representing the town. So there's a big difference between occupying a physical space and performing some sort of task. There's a huge difference between the two. I'm sure Mr. Nugent will agree with me on that.
Anybody, a private citizen come anywhere where there's a public space and just hang out all day anyway. So why are we
Right.
making it stricter for somebody that's a liaison than a private person that can just show up and just stand there all day?
Because not all spaces within the town are publicly accessible spaces. The highway garage, for instance, is not a
hold on a
publicly
second,
accessible
hold on a second.
space.
We're only talking-
The comptroller's office has a number of
so let's-
confidential documents in it, so does the personnel office.
Let's take that line out and add only public spaces, that person can be there. I got no problem with that.
Okay.
What does the attorney say about that?
Well,
not
I think the only
opposed to
problem
that.
with that is the liaison might be in places other than public places. Otherwise, you're kind of saying you can come into town hall, but you can't go past the lobby or whatever. If they're a liaison, they would probably be in an office from time to time or somewhere that the public couldn't just walk into.
Yeah, but you're talking constant presence. That's the word, that's what you're talking about.
Well, you could say constant present is a non-public place, and limit that. Obviously, if it's public,
Okay.
they could stay there, but in other words, just to have it as be that they wouldn't be in constant presence in the functions of a non-public area office department program or something, but.
I get what
I
you're
don't
saying. You don't
think-
want someone to show up and just sit in the office all freaking day.
Right.
I get that.
I mean, let's just say, for instance, we have one citizen liaison now for one of our rec department functions, but we could theoretically appoint a liaison to any of our rec department functions. If we were to appoint an after-school program liaison, it would be entirely inappropriate for that person to show up at 9 in the morning and sit around all day.
I think you, Mr. Nugent
That's
and
my
Brian,
point.
should work on F between those 2 lines and bring it back to us.
Although, now that you've just mentioned that, the paragraph of F does indicate that the presence of the liaison should be limited to the scope of the activities or functions that they're tasked to. So if we are content with, the notion that a liaison for any department should only be in that department when the department is performing a function related to what they're liaising about,
No,
then
the liaison should be there anytime they want to be there.
Yeah,
That's the
but
I
purpose of a liaison.
fundamentally disagree with you.
I
sir.
think what the
disagree.
issue here
don't
is
agree with
people are concerned, like, you're going to come and sit in my office all day.
That's different.
I think that's very easy to say, please leave my office.
Yes, but if there's no mechanism by which that liaison can be made to do so, then.
I don't
All right,
see
listen,
why,
listen.
I can say, please leave my
a head
office,
of a
but-
department can't say, yeah, can you step out of my office and.
And what
you
if
know.
a liaison were to say no?
But why create
Well,
that
that-
awkward situation? It's just like, this is a blanket policy, that's all this
This
is.
is a brand new thing for us.
Once you-
We've
once-
never had a
once-
citizen liaison
Why
before.
don't you guys just tighten it up where public space is okay and private space, just
Well, I
figure
don't
it
think
out.
we need
There
to
are no
specify that a
private
liaison can be in a
spaces.
space that they'd be entitled to be in anyway. I don't think that we necessarily need language.
I mean, because
Specify
anybody
that.
can come and sit outside in the hall outside the glass windows.
Guys, I don't want,
office, so.
just come up with something a little better than that, please. Brian and Greg and Mr. Nugent,
Sure.
just strike E and work on F.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely strike E. And
work on F.
should we add a paragraph, just from a personnel standpoint, that there should be an acknowledgement form for liaisons? Acknowledging the existence of the policy and agreeing to abide by it?
I mean, you could do that at the time of appointment and just have it.
Well, right.
Well, obviously, if you're going to have a liaison policy, you need to present it to the liaison, so
Right.
you could have just something.
So there should be a paragraph saying that the copy of the policy needs to be presented to the liaison, and the liaison should file, sign and file an acknowledgement form.
You could do that if you want to have
I
acknowledgement.
think that's appropriate. I think that citizen
You
liaisons
could literally
are a
have
good
that
idea.
on the
And
bottom of the
as we
policy.
have more of them, I think it's important that everyone have the same policies.
You could just have that on the bottom of the policy where they sign and there's a copy and.
Make
they got
it the effective day, March 4th. That we're going forward, that we gotta do that.
Well, we should do it retroactive too, so.
Can you do it retroactive?
Sure.
Well, yeah, you don't have the
Because they're
policy
serving the
yet,
pleasure.
so.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So-
I mean,
the
you could
liaison serves at the
establish it.
pleasure, so, if we needed to, we could always
All right,
terminate the
Greg.
liaison
All
position
right.
and then create a
I
new
don't
one.
want to spend much more time on that. All right.
Okay.
We've got a lot done there. All right. Next up, privilege of the floor for agenda
Oh,
items.
so we could tabling this to the March
Yeah.
4th meeting?
I don't have it on the agenda, right, to vote?
No, there's no vote on that tonight.
Yeah.
Just a discussion.
This
Hoover,
discussion.
March
March
4th.
4th, you got it.
Yep. Privilege of the floor for agenda items.
Louise Daniele, I have a couple. Since you just finished talking about that one, I think I agree with what the supervisor said about taking out E, and I also agree with him about taking out that sentence that he said, "At no time will it be acceptable to become a constant presence in the ongoing functions of the area, office, department, or programs, as this could be construed as interference." Interference of what? So like, I'm the first liaison, so at any time it will be, at no time will it be acceptable to become a constant presence. I am a constant presence. If I go to the rec center to see the seniors, I'm a liaison to the seniors who come to the rec center. So, and I also am a liaison to Mary Ann. So that's it. I don't really see where the interference would be. So are you telling me I can't go to the rec center?
I don't see
Because
it.
I don't really understand why that sentence would really need to be in there at all, unless you're telling me you think I shouldn't be sitting with a senior and coming and going, at any time, because I could honestly come and go anytime I wanted to at the rec center, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, at any time whatsoever, because I'm considered a senior in the town now too. So this just seems like really restrictive, and I don't understand if there's a problem. So if there is, then I think it should be addressed and not put in like that, because. I
Yeah,
don't
Louise,
agree with
we're
that.
going to change that language, Louise, and I do want to be clear, this policy is not specifically about you. It is, we have a new idea with this citizen liaison concept, and I think we'd like to have liaisons for multiple departments, so
Maybe.
this would cover everyone
takes
we'd be
care of it.
appointing.
I don't know
And-
that I want liaisons everywhere, but.
But I think it does certainly improve transparency, and that's a great thing. So there's nothing in this policy that would apply to any one particular individual or set of individuals. And if there's an issue with the language, supervisor's got it, we'll find better language than what was in there, and that's not an issue, and we're going to completely remove the redundant paragraph E.
Okay, so I think what you just kind of hit the nail on the head. So transparency. So if there's an issue with somebody, because you're making this and I'm the first one, so I feel like these were kind of, written around myself. So if there's someone who thinks that they have an issue with me sitting in a public room where I have to be the liaison to the seniors, then they have an issue with transparency, and that's their issue. That's not my issue.
I'm
That's
not aware of there being any issue related to that.
I don't
My-
understand why this would be written like this.
No,
So
my
as long as
position
the
on,
supervisor
I want to
changes
put
it the
Louise's
way.
mind at ease that this has nothing to do with her. The question regarding the idea of being a permanent presence within a space where a liaison does not receive an office or any town equipment and does not perform any official acts for the town, number of our town offices, for instance, our finance department, for instance, our personnel office, contain confidential, private records which are not publicly accessible. Having an individual who is not a town employee or subject to the town employee handbook in those spaces on a constant basis would require a town employee to also occupy that space for as long as that private citizen is there. So
What? What the heck is that? Yeah, like we're
I'm
getting a little crazy
thinking from a
here.
hypothetical
Yeah.
standpoint. If we were to have a
So-
liaison for
well,
personnel,
so
or if we were to have a liaison to finance.
Okay, you don't, so let's just focus on me, because
But,
I am
but
taking
this
this a
is,
little
this is the
personal.
point, Louise.
So,
This policy was
holy
not
moly.
written about you.
Okay.
It was written about,
That may
it
be
is
your
a blanket
opinion.
policy to apply to
If I can, I
anyone.
think
Yeah.
we just addressed the
Good
point,
point.
and I think that we would incorporate that about the non-public spaces. I would agree, we're not worried about public. If you're a senior and you can go in the senior center anytime, then obviously that can't be an issue.
That
But if
wouldn't-
there
it's
is
not an
a
issue.
highway liaison, and we have a highway officer, things like that, that's what I think that should be geared at, not the public space or the accessible space, because they'd be there
Absolutely.
anyway.
Work that out, man.
Absolutely. We can certainly clarify that
Wanna
language.
change the
Yeah,
language?
especially constant presence in ongoing function. So if I go into Mary Ann's office and sit down and talk to her, that's not a public space at all times, although it is, because the seniors can go in and out if she's in there.
That's her
So-
office, that's- I was-
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
but-
So if I put it's just ridiculous.
I can't see that being an issue unless she objects, to be honest. I mean,
Exactly.
I agree, but this kind
Exactly.
of sounds like there was.
Well, I mean, practically speaking, the town or somebody's not going to be aware of that unless somebody raises it as an
Right.
issue.
Oh, that's what I thought this was about. so-
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll certainly clarify the language there, that we're simply talking about individuals being present in restricted areas as opposed to
Public
publicly accessible spaces. Because we're not attempting to
I think
impede
you-
rights that a person would have otherwise.
You'd already be in trouble
no
if you're
means.
being here, you know.
I just think that Mr. Nugent's got the point, and we'll look for his draft.
10-4.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
March 4th.
Okay, so that
Oh,
was
no.
that one.
Don't mean to be cutting you off there, pal, but
Well, that's good.
Okay. Resolution to transfer 15% of the park rental fees to the Recreation Department. I didn't understand what that was about. I saw that it was Carmine that put that on the agenda, so I actually called him and asked him. He explained that previously, all of the money that people would, if you rented, let's say, the park for $100 for the day, that all that money would go to the Parks Department, and they changed it a couple years ago, so 15% now goes to the Rec Department. My question is, how did you get to 15%? So I think my question is more similar to what Kenya said last time, like, where's the numbers? Because I actually think it should be like a 50-50 split. I don't know how they just come up with that, so it sounds like you're going to just approve 15. I think Councilmember Bardini had spoken something regarding that, but.
You want to change the number, Councilwoman?
well, is that what
You know,
Carmine
it makes
said?
no sense to change the number if you don't know what it was based on to
Thank
begin
you.
with. So, you know, are we being arbitrary in how we came to 15%? I just don't understand how you put something in the agenda and you don't support it with how you came about that. That's all.
Can
That
you
was my
ask for
problem.
backup? I don't know. Be a
I
question.
mean, is this,
I mean, I really
Is
think it
this
should be
on
more.
Yeah.
regular vote on
Wait,
this?
are you done speaking, Jackie? I didn't hear you.
No, I
Yeah.
wasn't. I said, I
Yeah.
really think it probably should be more based on the amount of time that they spent. I'm not saying 50-50. I think the highway department and buildings, you know, they do a lot of work with the grounds, and they should get the majority of that, but there's also a significant amount of time spent when somebody's renting, whatever, a park or something, right? So, you know, they have to pay their fees. They have, the person who takes the registration in has to make sure there's insurance and et cetera.
I agree.
Right.
Yeah, I just had the
So
same question
I
as
think
you.
that it probably should be higher, but I can't say, let's make it higher, because I don't know how we got to 15%.
I know, that's kind of my
You know,
point. I
so.
mean, I hear you're going to probably say 15, but again, like, we're doing things without documentation to show why numbers are certain numbers. So I'll just leave it at that. It's the same department. To modify the adopted budget for encumbrances. Are you encumbering any money for the seniors? I think you said at some point you were going to encumber some money from either the hotel tax or the weed tax. And
Yeah,
I
I
know that
think-
there
I
was
think-
something that you and I spoke about, so I just want to make sure
If-
it doesn't, the money doesn't get put somewhere, and then later when we need to
If
use
the
it, we
seniors
can't.
need something, just come to us.
Okay.
We got a check yesterday for $100,000 for a marijuana tax.
All right, so I'll be back in August when they
quarterly
need
check.
something.
a lot of pot out
Yeah, and if there's something now,
They're smoking.
then I'll have whoever speak to you about it,
Yes.
that needs to be modified. Let's see.
How many locations do we have to get taxed from? 4.
3 or
What?
4, yeah.
Wait,
4
what?
pot shops.
Oh,
Okay,
there's
continue
probably
with your
more than
comments.
Popular, look
There's
at,
probably more
Listen,
than that. Okay.
they're good
Last one-
locations. Just
Last
making
one
us
is
look good.
the leak forgiveness program. You know, The whole water thing is right up my alley. So I'm just wondering, are you going to define what a leak is? Because when you say leak, are you talking about a leak of a pipe that's inside your house, or are you talking about a leak of a pipe that's outside of your house, which really is your responsibility? Or are you putting in that the running toilet or back bills for meters? Because I think they're like three different things.
My mentality is going to be, if you have to get a plumber to spend thousands of dollars, that's a break, and a leak subject to interpretation.
So I kind of, I like the way that you were doing it, the way that you did it when I was on the board and the way you started to do it. I know from speaking with the supervisor that's not the way you like it, but if something happens, like obviously something happened for this to be on the agenda. So if something happened, it would just be transparent for that to be brought to the board and the public to hear like what it is that happened and what you're getting. I know that you want to streamline it, but I just like to throw transparency in there so we all know what's happening, because it's kind of vague, like saying 25%, 15%, you don't know what it's going to be. So I think you should leave it the way it is. But if you do create it, you just specify exactly leak, toilet, back bill, whatever it is that you're going for. I think that's it.
All right.
Yep, I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak? Next up is resolutions, consent. I've got 7 items. A resolution to reappoint the tax certiorari attorney. That's the guy that does the tax challenges for the property taxes. Number 2, a resolution to authorize agreement to expenditure of highway money funds, routine. Number 3, resolution of the transfer of 15% of park rental fees to the rec department, which the former woman mentioned. Number 4, resolution to appoint primary special prosecutor counselor. He just went to a different law firm, so we want to make sure we don't lose him. Number 5, resolution to adopt the 26 adopted budget for encumbrances, another routine thing. Number 6, resolution to approve police contracts for 2026, routine. And another one that we've been doing is a resolution to authorize the renewal license with Ms. Maurer by the highway department. We rent the land and we get whatever the tax is, it's a wash. So we get the land used for free. And she doesn't get that. We've been doing that for the last 10 years, I believe.
It's a pretty good price.
Yeah, I'll present that as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next up is item for special consideration for the third deputy tax receiver. Let me see, I got 2 here. Article. So we got to pass the law first, right, Mr.
Pass
Nugent?
the local law
All right.
and then appoint.
Gotcha. Oh, I got to read all this. Now, therefore, it be resolved, the town board as follows. Section 1, all whereas paragraphs incorporated herein reference are set forth in full. The town board hereby adopts local law number 1 of 2026 entitled Local Law to add a third tax receiver. Number 3, town clerk is hereby is directed to enter all local laws in the minutes of the meeting in the local book of the town of Fishkill and give due notice to the adoption of local law filed in local law in the New York State, Secretary of State, New York. The town clerk and any other town officer, employee, or consultant directed by the supervisor shall take any and all actions necessary to carry out the provisions of this resolution. Section 5 of the resolution shall be effective immediately. I present that as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next up, a resolution establishing a third deputy tax receiver and appoint Lauren Kalmasi to such position. The above whereas clause is incorporated herein as set forth in full. Number 2, the town board hereby establishes a third deputy tax receiver position in the town of Fishkill upon filing the local law and establishment of such positions. Section 3, the town board of the town of Fishkill hereby appoints Lauren Kalmasi to the position of third deputy tax receiver effective on the same date that the local law establishing the position becomes effective. Section 4, the town supervisor, any officer, employee, or consultant as designated by the town supervisor is hereby authorized to take all necessary action to carry out provisions of this resolution. Section 5, the resolution shall be effective upon filing with the Secretary of State, local law entitled Local Law to consider establishing a third deputy tax receiver in the town. I'll present that as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next up, new and old business.
That was speed reading right there. Sounds like a tobacco auctioneer.
Next up is new and old business. Jackie?
Nothing today.
Greg?
Nothing today.
Don?
Nothing today.
Brian?
Yes, one thing.
Okay.
So close.
It's a tiny thing, but I think it's very important. I got this Central Hudson notice because I get water in the village, so this whole forgiveness thing doesn't apply to me. But let me just read this real quick. What they're doing is they're replacing pipes, and I just want people to know that they're going to be replacing these pipes in certain areas.
The gas lines, right?
Gas lines, that's exactly what it is. So in an effort to improve safety, rehabilitation, and performance of the natural gas distribution system, Central Hudson is undertaking a comprehensive natural gas main and service replacement program in select communities throughout the Mid-Hudson Valley to address modernization of aging infrastructure. So Main Street between Gearing Way and Route 9, Wheaton Avenue between Main Street and approximately 42 Wheaton Avenue, Cary Avenue between Main Street and Wheaton Avenue, Florence Avenue, where I live, between Jackson and approximately 37 Florence Avenue, Jackson Street between Main Street and 111 Jackson Street, Broad Street between Bedford Avenue and Main Street, Robinson Street, Leicester Place, Wood Place, Weston Place. If your service line is affected, Danella Construction will contact you to schedule an appointment for its replacement. Please note this entire process requires work to be performed both inside and outside of your home or business. How fun is that? Natural gas meters currently located indoors, whatever. There's a phone number here, 845-452-2000. I guess if you need to contact anybody pursuant to this matter, Matt Guthrie, 845-235-2924. Gas Supervisor, Capital Construction. So I just wanted to make everyone aware.
Excellent.
Thanks, Brad.
Just another reminder, Friday, June 5th, from 6 to 9 at Heritage Financial Park, also known as Dutchess Stadium, home of the Renegades. The town of Fishkill will be hosting 250th anniversary celebration. I'd like to thank Councilman Rye for helping me with that. It's going to be a nice, simple event for 3 hours. We're going to have the kids from the school districts read the Constitution. We're going to have choruses, bands. We're going to have, as it gets darker out, we're going to finally read the Declaration of Independence.
Robert's going to be there with his reenactors.
Yep, the town historian will be there with his reenactors, and we're going to have a musket volley, and then we're going to have a great fireworks display. And it's going to be free to everyone, your neighbors, your friends. We want you to attend.
It'll be very festive.
Yeah, and free parking, and the concession stands will be open. You don't get that for free, though. But just mark down June 5th, Friday, from 6 to 9 at Dutchess Stadium. I'm sure the board members will let you guys know. And maybe in about a month when it starts thawing out, the town of Fishkill created a passport. We just got done doing our welcome letter. We're going to start putting that together, and we're going to drop these things off at your mail on your door stoops. So the passport program is going to be where you go through the town's historic sites, and you're going to learn the town. You're going to learn how proud you're going to be a citizen in this town, to see how much just Revolutionary War history is here. And you complete your tasks as best as you can, and you come to the town hall, and we give you a nice pin that I'm wearing right here. It's a quality pin. So, and then me and also Councilman Rye are working on a monument to John Bailey, one of the original patriots who forged George Washington's sword crossing the Delaware. So the town of Fishkill is going to probably be the best place in the Hudson Valley for the 250th celebration. And I might say even better than that.
No, it's going to be the premier spot. It just is. And we're also fortunately going to be re-landscaping the Memorial Park area, so that's going to be beautiful as it should be. So
yes, and I got to get Councilwoman Bardini to be Madam Brett, so she's reluctant to do that, but I'm trying. Madam Brett is the original.
You don't look like Katharina.
I'll put my hair up.
Madam Brett is one of the original. The most wealthiest landlady for probably a long time in the colonial area, so she had a lot of power for a woman that couldn't vote, but she was very influential and very, like I said, very powerful. And she's buried under the where's she buried at?
She's buried at the First Reformed Church.
Underneath the
basically underneath the pulpit.
Underneath the pulpit. So a very influential lady. So the next town board meeting is March 4th. We have no executive session. I'll make a motion to adjourn. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? God bless America. All right.
God bless America.
Yep.